Ruben Amorim set to wait until the end of the season to break his silence on his time at Manchester United. We've also got some interesting updates as well from The Athletic on Manchester United's summer strategy. Will it be as heavy as some people out there think? I want to know your thoughts and opinions on that in the live chat so we can discuss them throughout today's video. Big shout out to everyone out there who likes, hypes and subscribes and supports the channel. Let's start with Ruben Amorim first. I will get through some of the quotes from the article today, but I want to know your overall opinions first.
Listen, Ruben Amorim, as far as I'm concerned, I mentioned it, Kieron mentioned it the other week. Not many people were talking about it. He walked out the club. He missed the boat. All he had to do was thank the fans for the support. It didn't work out. And I wish everyone the best, especially Michael Carrick. That's all he had to say. Now, this report, what's come out, I'm baffled by it. To me, it just seems as though he's got a lucrative TV deal signed up. I don't know what the non-disclosure agreement he's got, but you know what the media are like. They'll only focus on the negatives. How much negative Ruben Amorim can talk about, I don't know. But for me, I am very, very disappointed in Ruben Amorim not giving his support and thanking everyone and wishing everyone the best. It seems ominous that we've got to wait till the end of the year and listen to every word what Ruben Amorim says. It's poor as far as I'm concerned.
Just to give you a bit of a gist, what's been actually wrote in this article from Chris Wheeler and Nathan Sol, and it says, a well-placed source in Portugal says that Amorim is set to wait until the season is wrapped up before breaking his silence on how rapidly it soured at United. But Portuguese sources with knowledge of the situation have stressed that Amorim has no desire to disrupt or affect the remainder of United's season as Carrick looks to steer them back into Champions League football. What's your thoughts on that?
What's my thoughts on that? Disrupt. How's he going to disrupt with a thank you and wishing everyone the best?
Yeah.
That's all he had to do. So for me, it's all about disrupting. So I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to be disruptive. It's going to be name calling. It's going to say how he was employed, what he was supposed to do. You can see it down the line. If he wanted to say anything nice, there was nothing stopping him saying anything nice. So when someone delays talking and tries to come out through a well-placed source, that he's got things to say and he'll say them at the end of the year, he doesn't want to disrupt. Coming out with nice things, you're never going to disrupt anything.
Do you think we're set up here for like some sort of interview with Ruben Amorim and someone maybe from Portugal or a European host, and they're going to do a sit-down interview, something similar maybe to what Cristiano Ronaldo done with Piers Morgan?
Probably, and get a lot of money for it. If you look at Ruben Amorim, he walked out with £10 million, and it seems to me, I don't know the facts, but it seems to me from the outside that he's lined up a lucrative deal. Piers Morgan, I very much doubt it. I think the Portuguese have got him lined up nice and friendly, and he'll just say, listen, I never wanted to leave Sporting Lisbon. I was dragged away against my better judgment. I should never have gone. And he'll apologise to all the Portuguese fans. That's how I see it. But a lucrative deal, definitely on the cards.
I mean, NDA doesn't stop a statement. You know, It does limit what a person can actually say in discussing possibly things like, you know, the current strategy for the transfer market in the summer, you know, what targets, etc., and maybe the goings on of certain people inside the club, amongst other things. And like you say, and we discussed it last week, and one of the first, I think, on YouTube to discuss it, that all it needed was a thank you to the fans with the support that we actually give him during what was a shocking time with results with Ruben Amorim. That's all we needed, just a thank you, wishing Carrick the best of luck, and then let's move on. But in my eyes, I've already moved on. So unless he comes out with something that none of us are aware of what's been going on in the background, in things, in how they were being handled, maybe some promises that were broken, you know, anything else other than that, I'm not interested.
Well, you say anything else but that, I'm not interested in. But I would like to know, and it'd be interesting if he did have a say on picking players, which then would let us know if Michael Carrick is given the manager's job in the summer or a new manager comes in. who is actually running the football side of football. For me, I don't really believe that Ruben Amorim had much input on signing players, but it'll give you an inkling going forward that the manager who does get in place in the summer, he has the number one say. So for me, a lot of fans don't believe the manager, or shall we say the coach, has got an influence on picking players and signing them. So that'll be interesting going forward, not just for now, the next year or so, for the long-term future, how the strategy of INEOS, when they've come in, how they're going to work it. I spoke the other day about how Chelsea do it. They've come out clear as anything. The owners, the manager, that Liam
Rosenior.
Yeah, Liam Rosenior, the Chelsea coach. He said, I've got nothing to do with it, and he's quite happy. So for a United going forward, and you know, we all look at the United way and the DNA and everything else. But for me, billionaires getting involved in picking players the way they turned around when they walked in and said, we're going to decide the way Manchester United are going to play. And that's by picking players. That's the tactics. So who's going to be running the tactics? Who's going to be picking the players? So we might get an inkling if Ruben Amorim had a choice on picking players or not. So that's the one thing and one thing only I want to see, because it will give us a good insight going forward on how this club is going to be run.
Here's good insight. Michael Carrick actually only needs to win 3 more games out of the 14 remaining to have a better win rate than Ruben Amorim.
Yeah, that's a kick in the teeth for Ruben Amorim. That's a kick in the teeth for anyone what backed Ruben Amorim. But I don't think the backing was fully for Ruben Amorim as it was last year. We understood there was a process going on, but it's been poor results this year. Results where we really should have won when we've drawn or lost games. So for me, Michael Carrick has got it all to do now. He's got 14 games remaining. The mood's there. Football's turned around. It's like the fans and the players have all joined up as one, and we're all on this bandwagon. We say we're on a choo-choo train. We're all deluded. Let's stay on it. But I do think Michael Carrick now will go on with this record of winning games, and he'll win he will win more than he will lose, which is not a bad thing to do.
Yeah, Carrick's playing a formation tactics that the 11 players and subs are comfortable with, whereas Ruben Amorim was getting his 11 players to play a tactics on formation that he was comfortable with, not the 11 players. And we've seen a proper change around in mentality and what we've seen on the football pitch as well.
Yeah, well, you know, say you change the tactics, mentality and everything else like that. I think what sums that up is Sesko and Berbatov working together. The comments, what Sesko's come out with. I mean, you've got a player like Berbatov, right, who holds the ball, who can just keep the ball away and it doesn't get took off him, gets in the right positions as a forward, scores great goals and everything. If you're being mentored by someone like that, then there's a reason, because everything you've been taught or shown since you've come into the club is changing, and this is what we want you to do. This is how you're going to play. This is what's going to come. And Berbatov is absolutely flying with Sesko. And when you see that goal, what he scored the other day, everything about it was the Berbatov way, waiting in the right position, one touch, knowing where the goal was, away you go. So looking at Sesko and looking at the partnership and the conversations, what Berbatov is having with him, helping him, then you've got to say to yourself, things are going to go far, things are looking good.
Yeah, the touch, the composure, the link-up play from Berbatov in his day was absolutely insane for me.
Insane.
And I've got a little bit of a snippet of what Berbatov has actually said with Sesko. He said, Michael Carrick invited me to talk with Benjamin Sesko last week. We had a positive discussion about organising his physical condition and decision-making in finishing chances in front of goal. He will become a prolific goal scorer and one of the top strikers in the future at this club. So glowing words are from Berbatov.
Yeah, but it's not the Berbatov words I'm going to concentrate on here. What you've got to see is the foresight of Michael Carrick straight away. Straight away, inside the club, millions of problems. I say millions, but loads of problems. But straight away, he's gone out there and recognised, get Berbatov, someone who knows how to be a striker, someone who knows to be effective and score goals. He's gone out there, right, and targeted Sesko and said, hey, I want you in here. I'd like you to come in, talk to Sesko, work round. You know the way I'm going to play football. So at the end of the day, we was teammates, get in there. And that's what he's done straight away. He's just brought him in. This is how you manage football. He's seen the problem and he knew who to go and get. Yeah. And he brought Berbatov in. Yeah,
some really good man management, I think, there. Getting the actual expertise off a player like Berbatov. Again, player was absolutely insane, in my opinion, in some of the games he gave Manchester United. But I'm going to go on to a little bit of news as well, some other news as well after this from The Athletic. But this one's from Andy Mitten, and it's going to the summer transfer window at Manchester United. He says, money is tight. It absolutely is. If Manchester United don't get into Europe, it's going to be even tighter next season. It's imperative that United get into Europe.
Well, I look at last summer and I said there was no money in that because at the end of the day, if you look at the problems what United have had, and it's been right through the middle, and every United fan, every pundit has said we need midfield players, and we didn't go and get them. Yes, we got good players. Now, at the end of the day, we couldn't go and get the rest because there was no money. Yes, some of the transfers are being paid in instalments, and it tells you there is a problem going forward. And I just look at it and say to myself, have we got enough money? I don't think so. I keep saying it. I think we're still on the penny pinching thing. I think we do need to get into Europe to be financially secure, to go out and get what we need. And people are saying we're going to go big this summer. Some people don't think so. I don't think so. But there will be a problem. We've got injuries. We've got players what aren't actually getting in the squad. So for me, I think you've just got to look at it and say to yourself, let's pray that we get into Europe, then they'll be able to splash the cash. I don't think they'll be able to splash the cash the way we look at this squad and say it needs fixing, it needs players coming in. I don't think there's enough money for that. I honestly don't.
Well, we actually borrowed 105 million to put towards last summer's transfers from the revolving credit facility. I know you don't like that term, but I think it's just a lot easier for everyone out there to understand. And they've already used 290 million out of 350 million that's possible. So there's a 60 million there that they could possibly use. But again, it's debt.
Yeah.
It's to get the fancy names, it's debt.
Yeah, well, when you talk about the money, I go back again in the summer and I took flack from everyone. But some people just didn't listen clearly. I said Manchester United were going to keep Onana for another year. Yes, he got injured before the start of the season, but I said they were going to keep him. And when the transfer window opened, there was no sign of United trying to sell him. They weren't looking to buy a goalkeeper. There wasn't any money to buy a goalkeeper, a top-class goalkeeper. There was no point bringing in a goalkeeper. You had to bring in a top-class goalkeeper. And then next thing you know, they were forced into getting rid and bringing in a player. They were forced to find the money, but they couldn't go out there and get the big money. But what they did, they settled on a goalkeeper after Onana made a horrendous appearance against Grimsby. And we all seen it. We all know the ins and outs of it. But United then had to go and get a goalkeeper, but they only had so much money. But it was a struggle getting Le Mans in. But they were not selling Onana, okay? They were not selling him because they couldn't find a replacement where they had it in the bank. That always spelled a danger to me from a financial point of view.
You've also got to look at a couple of players who are out on loan at the moment. You've got Marcus Rashford.
Yes.
I think it's £30 million if Barcelona want to get that deal done in the summer. And Rasmus Højlund at Napoli as well. I think it's £38 million if that actually does go through. I think there's a clause in there. Obviously, if Napoli do qualify for the Champions League, it's an automatic transfer, that as well.
Yeah, well, let's hope Napoli qualify. They look poor in the group stages and that of the Champions League. So let's hope they do qualify because that will be welcome money for Rasmus Højlund. and good money, to be honest with you. But when you look at Rashford, you look at him at Barcelona, would he be performing if he just went to like some other club? I don't think so. He's got the players around him. He's got the freedom there. He doesn't start all the games, but he's looking good because of the squad he's in. And no wonder he's looking good. He's looking to get in that World Cup. And it's all about attitude. And I listened to Paul Scholes absolutely slaughter him. So there's going to be doubt. I don't care what anyone says. There is going to be doubt about his attitude once this season ends. If he doesn't get in that England squad and go over there for the World Cup, his attitude, there's a massive doubt at Manchester United. And as Paul Scholes said, his attitude round the pitch, sulking, walking, not putting the effort in and everything, was an absolute disgrace. And they're the words of Paul Scholes. So for me, this Rashford is trying to get in the World Cup. He doesn't mind being on the bench, coming on. He wants that World Cup. And if he doesn't get it, what kind of attitude is that man going to have? And I'm telling you, it's going to stink. We want the money for Rashford. So let's hope Barcelona can find it somehow.
Cutting the wages each week. I mean, I think Manchester United have cut the wage bill by 45% since INEOS have come in. And I remember a report and a video we'd done back in November that stated that United owed roughly 180 to 200 million in the next 12 months from that November in transfer fees because of the instalments on some of the players that had bought over the years.
Yeah, I think there'll be to be honest with you, if we qualify for Europe, especially the Champions League, and if the football continues, then the hype continues off the field. It continues with sponsors. Then United know the guaranteed X amount of money. Everyone, listen, when Man United are on form and that, everyone wants to be in there. You know, ticket prices go up, you name it, the lot. You know, supply and demand. And at the end of the day, these sponsors will come piling back in and give the money if they see that Manchester United are going in the right direction and getting in the Champions League is the right direction. So when it comes to the end of the season, what we're talking now, other people are speculating, it could be completely different. You know, when people turn around and say, oh, players don't want to come to Manchester United and all that, they're not in the Champions League, or they're not this, they want to aspire to something else. United are going down. United are never going down. They just have bad periods. Now, listen, everyone wants to come to United, right? Everyone wants to watch Manchester United. When they're in free-flowing football, like Carrick's got them, scoring goals, entertaining. And if that continues, we are worldwide news all over, and the money comes pouring in. So I think we'll all be shocked at the end of the year if this continues as it is now, because the financial rewards for playing good football, entertaining football, it goes off the scale.
I did see Andy Mitten suggest as well, and I think he's stuck with this for quite a while as well, saying United's number one priority, though, in that midfield area this summer will be Elliot Anderson, whilst there's also interest around the likes of Belabor and Wharton from Crystal Palace.
Yeah, there's interest in these three names keep coming up. And me personally, I think it might change. I don't think these three will be the targets. I think they might find other targets depending on Michael Carrick, if he's the manager, if another manager comes in. But then again, I go back to what I previously said, who's picking these players? And that's where Amorim comes in. The one thing I want to know, who's picking these players? I don't think they're going to stick to these three targets. These three targets, for me, they're not blowing my mind off. I'm not seeing them play exciting football, top players, this, that, scoring goals. Their names aren't on the back pages of any sports columns I see. But the good players. Now, will they be better in a better side? An exciting team like Manchester United at the moment? Yes, I think they will be. But are they the top players? Well, you have to perform and you have to score goals. I don't see these players scoring the goals and being as effective as they probably were last year. Dip in form, the speculation of being associated with a possible transfer to Manchester United can affect any player. So you've got to take all that into consideration. But let's just hope that they pick up. In my eyes, might be just trained on these three and they won't go wandering anywhere else. Because I do believe Manchester United will not just look at these three players.
I mean, I thought Casemiro was decent anyway under Ruben Amorim, to be honest with you. When you look at some of the performances as a collective, as a squad, and in 11 players, and we've just mentioned them 3 players, and in particular, Michael Carrick's first 3 games. I mean, are any of them players playing better than Casemiro right now?
None of them. None of them's playing better than Casemiro. Casemiro would just, the way he's playing.
He's going on a free.
Yeah, he's going
at the end of the summer.
Yeah, he's leaving. Yeah, he's leaving. Probably stay in the Premier League on this form. You know what I mean? Someone's laughing out there.
Yeah.
Someone's really laughing. But the thing is, it's how he's set up. He's not exposed. He's not the player who you can leave exposed because he just gets turned and all that. We've all seen it. We've said it 1,000 times. We're not saying anything what's new. But he thrives in this. And he's just loving it. But the people around him are loving it because they're all doing a job. They've all got partnerships, and he's not being exposed. You seen him score the goal the other day. You know, he was scoring them goals regular a while ago because he was always in the box. He was always getting back, using his head and everything. But to be in the middle, as he was under Ruben Amorim, he was regularly exposed because there was no one around him. No short passing, always the long ball, everything else like that. Now he's just linking up. The link-up play is just brilliant.
I remember a lot of the community out there discussing possible targets with us only last month. And I've gone back to a bit of info of what David Ornstein come out with at the time when we was discussing it. And he did say, and this was on the 22nd of January, on the Transfers podcast with Duncan Castles, he said, I do think it's potentially a heavy summer coming for Manchester United in terms of recruitment. And I remember that purely because when he was doing the deadline day with Sky Sports the other day, he come out with something what I thought wasn't the same. It was totally different. And he said Manchester United's summer transfer window may not be as crazy as some expect, but the club has plenty to address. Now, is this facts? To me, it's sounding more and more like just an opinion from David Ornstein, who is a journalist, so we expect journalists to do the job in actually finding facts out. But I'm hearing a lot more of an opinion based from all journalists at the moment, instead of actually doing some actual real journalism.
Well, if you look...
and finding the facts out.
Yeah, if you look at what he's saying there, the Athletic is going on that opinion, and it's an opinion. I always thought, right, and I have a bit of a bugbear about it. I always thought reporters would go out there and get information and get facts, right? And when Kieron mentions January, all the Athletic are doing, right, in my opinion, are coming out with their opinions. These are people who are paid to go out there, right, get information and report it back. That's how I see a journalist. And these journalists, right, and I've gone on about it before, but I'm having a right little go here now, right? These journalists, right, are just out there, just sucking it up and giving their opinions. That's all they're doing. And what's happening then is other people, right, other content creators are coming out there, right, and giving it as facts, but based on their opinions. They shouldn't be giving their opinions. 1 minute, Ornstein's saying this, and then he's changing it. And the reason why he's changing it is because the narrative is set by the media companies. That's what's happening out there. They're run, Ornstein's run by a media company. The same as the others on the Athletic. They're run, here's the narrative, run with that. But only a few weeks ago, he was coming out with a different narrative, another opinion. It's not facts. So for me, we're all being drove mad. I'm not being drove mad because I don't accept it. I'm old school. I want a reporter to report facts where he's got it from. These people don't do it, and they really, really get up my nose.
The thing with me is, if you take yourself back to the comment from the 22nd of January, where he says, I do think it's potentially a heavy summer coming for Manchester United in terms of recruitment. I think that's maybe, to me, that feels like a leak from inside the club. or a brief is to say, look, put that out there to try and calm the noise down, because we're not going to spend any money in January, and get all the fans to focus and look on the summer, as to say it's going to be heavy in the summer, so just wait and sit patiently. But then once it's ended, or on transfer deadline day, the opinion changes for me, and I don't see why when it's only been a few days from the 22nd of January.
Well, he's a bluffer then, if that's the fact. Okay, if he's gone out there and he's put that out there on behalf of the club, that opinion, right, to shut people up, right, then it's a disgrace.
It does feel like
right, but he never thought he'd get pulled on it.
Yeah,
I don't see anywhere else at the moment anyone coming up and pulling Ornstein, right, on his opinions changing so dramatically, so fast. I don't see it. And then the narrative from The Athletic and other outlets, right, are all on this, right? Oh, the money's tight and all that. We don't know what's going to go on.
Yeah, no, I do see him, and a lot of his know out there. Look, he's fast, and he's the first one to break like transfer news where it's actually progressing, where the players signing for the club. I've got no doubts about that. But when you're going from a potentially heavy summer and then going to may not be as crazy, I mean, sometimes you've just got to look at it for what it is, and it's just journalists just giving an opinion.
Yes.
They're not actually doing journalism and giving facts of what they know. And I just want to make that clear. And like I say, that January one, to me, we've had more than enough over the years just doing YouTube to know sometimes where you get a bit of a smell of a brief from a club, and that just felt like it to me. But I want to know your opinions out there. If it will be a heavy summer in terms of recruitment at Manchester United, or not as crazy as well of what Ornstein says. But I want to know your opinions in the chat. A bit of news as well, what I've seen today. No Mason Mount, no De Ligt. I've been seen training this week with Manchester United. But JJ Gabriel, the young kid, he's been spotted in training with the first team.
Yeah, JJ Gabriel. I expect other youngsters to be in there as well. I'm sure Carrick will have one or two in there. I just look at it and I say to myself, especially about Mount and De Ligt, just seems like a never-ending saga. You know, injury-prone. De Ligt, you know, people said before he came to United he was injury-prone. I didn't really buy that line, but I'm actually really getting into that line now, because I just don't believe De Ligt is going to come back as a good player for Manchester United. I think he's in and out. This injury, it's an absolute joke, to be honest with you. I think he's potentially finished if we don't see him back by the end of the season. And Mount, like I say, I've always liked him. I think he's a very good player, but it's a never-ending saga. Apparently, it was a knock in training. Well, just by turning round and saying, oh, it's just a knock doesn't keep you out. So I don't believe by putting it out there that Mount has suffered a knock. He's not in training. I think we could be back on that saga again with him. I hope not. I really hope not, for his sake, because every time he's come on the pitch for United, he has looked as though like he fits in that team. So I hope for his sake that it is just a little knock and we see him tomorrow. But, you know, it's now.
One player I wish we did see tomorrow, and that's Dorgu. I was really enjoying watching that kid play. Really good balance as well he was bringing to the team in attack and defence as well. I think he was really suited in that role.
Do you know something? Yeah. Can't wait for him to get back. But, you know, I can't wait for all the players on the bench to get on. I have said it, and every time every player has come off the bench and come on, they're exciting. They all want it. So Dorgu will be going mad. He'll be absolutely gutted that he's injured and not on the pitch, because we were seeing the best of him, to be honest with you. But Mason Mount and De Ligt, both good players for United. De Ligt there, I thought he was solid at centre-half. Yeah. Mount, every time he come on, they will be missed. And there's another thing when you talk about transfers and money and everything else. If Mount and De Ligt don't recover and don't get back in this squad and back in this team, what are they going to do? You need a big squad. They're going to have to look at replacing Mount and De Ligt, because it can't end. It's got to end. Nursing players along. You know, like I say, it's a never-ending saga. I don't think INEOS are going to stand for it. I think they'll do something about it. but to do something about it, they'll have to go in the transfer market. But these are two players now who would be, basically, you wouldn't argue, starting in the first team. So they've got to be replaced if these injuries continue. And that's, besides all the players we're talking about, what are going to be replaced, the players what are leaving. So when you talk about a financial budget in that, look how big that financial budget is to replace two players who are proper squad players and possibly first-team starters. So the budget might have to be bigger than what people are thinking.
Gem7 has gifted 5 memberships. Absolute legend.
Thank you.
5 people have been gifted their memberships. Give a big thank you to Gems. Looking forward to the game on Saturday. I am.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because we've just got to
hopefully use our out there as well.
Yeah, we've got to shove it up them. I'm just sick of not getting the result against Tottenham. I remember in my day and all that, like early days and all that, we used to have great results against them. We even won the league at Old Trafford, beating them and all that. Great days against Tottenham, but it's always a big game. But it's been annoying playing Tottenham lately. They've turned us over when they're rubbish, and that's what's annoying. So I'm really looking forward to it on the back of what's gone wrong, what's changed here at Manchester United. I get this feeling, been talking the last couple of days. I know we didn't do a video yesterday, but we was talking to people, trying to sort a few things out. But people was talking about how the fans and the players have got back together again, and how the football's changed. It's just an unbelievable feeling. And beating Spurs be the icing on the cake, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think we've beat Spurs since 2022. I think it was a 2-0 here at Old Trafford. So, and since then, in all competitions, we've not won a game. It's always been getting beat or drawing against them. So that needs to change. The only thing with me is the half-12 kickoffs. I'm never too sure or confident when I go into an half-12 kickoff. Obviously, the City game, that was an half-12, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And look how that turned out under Michael Carrick. So let's hope we have some more of that against Tottenham. But it's always a little bit of a put-off, these half-12s, because it's that early.
Yeah, but...
as a fan.
Yeah, but it's half-12 Saturday. Saturday makes a hell of a difference. Everyone's up for it.
Yeah.
And I'm not in favour of the Sunday kickoffs, to be honest with you. I've always felt there's like a bit of a drop-off in like the mood before the game. But on a Saturday, no, everyone's out early. Everyone is out early. And they're ready for it on a Saturday. So Spurs, let's up, because it's sickening. When I look at it, how long how many games we've played against them and how long ago since we've actually beat them, it don't make sense to me, because they are a poor side.
Just like to thank you all for joining us today. In the chat's been popping off in there, a mix of opinions as well, which is great to see. Thanks to Gems as well, the legend, for gifting them 5 memberships earlier on. And thanks to every single one of you for your continued support. Please smash a like on today's video as well. And we'll be back tomorrow with another live stream. So get that notification on and we'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day and we'll see you soon. Much love. Thank you.
Thank you.